Hey everybody, this is PJ Reilly from Competition Archery Media out here at the Mathews Pro-Am. We are of course here for our shot of the week with our expert pro, Dan McCarthy. Dan, it was a pretty good day today. We have some different conditions today than we've seen this year in terms of sunlight, humidity, lots of things, open woods. How would you characterize the day for you?
I struggled with it a little bit just to hit them. I shot great. I mean, I actually shot really well. Hit right by a lot of them. Shot really good line, executed good shots. Just couldn't hit them. Hit around them, but that's the difference sometimes between having a great day and just having a decent day.
This humidity, how do you deal with that? You shoot the...
I complain about it.
I
don't deal with it.
You have the grip, the standard grip, the engaged grip that comes with the Mathews.
Yep, and honestly, like I could feel my handle moving on a couple shots. I shoot a really relaxed hand. There's a short coyote somewhere over here I missed, the 12 on that thing, and I drew back twice and I could feel my grip sliding a little bit, both in my release and in my handle.
Right.
And so I let down, try to make a little better shot. Drew back again, could feel the same thing. So I was just like, okay, you're gonna have to just shoot with that feeling. Even though, in your head you don't want to. If you can, you want to make every shot as perfect as you can be. But could feel it sliding a little bit. Executed a really good shot still on the backside of it, as good as I could. Missed it, just off at like 11 o'clock. But yeah, that's the difference sometimes of, just hitting them, just missing them.
All right, well, before we get to our target, Dan, I wanted to talk to you about a specific situation where, okay, if we go back through shot of the week, I'm now 3 8s in a row. Mm-hmm. So I'm feeling the pressure. I want a 12, a 10 at least. Well, when you're in a tournament...
I don't know why you're feeling pressure. At some point, you just got to let it go. Just be like, what, this isn't my week. Just have fun with it.
Is that what you did? So, like, you're shooting, and you're like, man, it's just not going my way.
Well,
what do you do mentally?
All right, so there's two ways to think about it. Now, there's no doubt, one of the things I'll always say for advice to people is don't count yourself out before you started shooting. Don't count yourself out early. Keep grinding it if you can until the whistle. But at some point, like, you also have to be realistic in a round every once in a while. And I've been that guy that's like just not feeling my shot that weekend, or I'm not judging good. And if I don't have things going my way, if I don't have, if I'm not firing on all cylinders on both sides, I probably shouldn't be just gunning for it. Because if I shoot 3 8s and I try even harder or get even more aggressive, chances are I'm just going to shoot more 8s. So it's a lot of times, like, you have to look at how you're performing and just say, I'm going to try to be a little more safe. And you might get a way better score out of that in this game, because you can't, if you're not hitting them, if I start out with 5 targets and I've missed 4 or 5 of them, then the chance, and 3 of those were 8s, the chance of me hitting enough 12s on the rest of the way out to dig myself out of the hole if I'm gunning at them is pretty low. But if I try to minimize all my mistakes and say, okay, no more 8s for the rest of the day, then I might just clip enough 12s. Even if I hit 4 of them, then I finish 2 up, instead of gunning and adding more 8s to my count. I'm not saying that's your scenario. We're going weekend to weekend, and judging's tough. You don't do a lot of it.
No, I don't.
So it's hard. It's tough.
I
can completely relate to this stuff.
Well, I got one picked out here that's at one of those distances that I think I have trouble with. It's in a particular bracket. We'll talk about it. Let's go check it out. All right, Dan, so we got here the Howling Wolf, and it's on the farther side, but especially problematic for me is that log in front of it, because I feel like that should give me a frame of reference, but it's always the distance behind it. Mm-hmm. That could be 1 yard, that could be 5 yards. I can't tell. So how do you approach this situation?
So a lot of times I'll judge this target. First of all, I judge off of just depth. So I look at this target. I don't know if it's difficulty or how my brain kind of measures it, but to me, I just say, that's not the longest target I'm going to see. So I know it's not max. I'm not really going off of that, but I'm just saying
Right.
I look at it and thought immediately, it's probably in that 45 range, somewhere in that area. I just gave you a hint.
No, that's,
But
I
anyway,
have my number in my head.
So that's where I started.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I tried to like kind of hone off of that to see where should I go with it. Is it more? Is it less? And you know, I looked at that log. Well, I don't practice judging logs, so I don't put a whole lot of weight into it. It's really close, honestly. It's pretty close to that log.
When you do that, I've seen you do that,
Yep.
moving back and forth. What are you doing?
So basically, I'm just seeing how much things move. So like, if you do it, like just move a little bit. You see how like, if you look at a spot on that log, how it doesn't move. When you move, it's like, so if this is the target, here's a spot on the log, it barely kind of is shifting.
Right.
Just barely. But if you look at like a sunspot that's 10 yards in front of that, or this tree that's 13 or yards in front of it, and you shift, you see how it moves, feet.
A lot more.
You know, several feet in that background. So, you know, something that's way up here, when you sidestep, you know, just a little bit from back there, like if the camera like moves, you'll see this object move a lot more in relation to this than when it's really close. So,
gotcha. So I was thinking 45 when I stood up. Boom, that was I was like, instinct was 45. Okay. But then I'm like, that log, I don't know. But so now that I see what you're talking about for moving.
It doesn't move much.
It doesn't move much.
I mean, you're talking about it. When I rock side to side, I might see like that leaf or whatever that is on that log. I might see it only move like 2 inches.
Yeah.
So I know that log is right there.
Close.
I mean, it's probably, if I was to guess, that log's probably within, you know, media of the target.
Right.
I would say
That's
it's pretty
what I was
close.
thinking. Okay.
There's going to be room in between it to be able to get down and pull arrows and score it, but that's it. It's probably going to be a yard off.
Well, then doing that and looking at the log and the thing, I'm sticking with my number. So let's see what we can do.
I would say sometimes though, when they do, this one's not as bad because you've got the white spot on its belly. But a lot of times when they do that, there'll be a bigger log or something, they'll put a target behind it and they cut off the belly line and they cut off the legs.
Right.
And that makes it really difficult to aim off of it because you don't have any left or right reference like an armpit. You know, this one has the paint in the belly. But if you don't have that armpit, if it's like a blessbach or a chamois or something, it's all the same color. Yeah. And then they take away your belly line and they take away your the shoulder structure or the armpit. It's really hard to aim exactly what height you should aim and which left and right.
Yeah. I have been finding myself in this thing where I've been trying to put a little extra mustard on it, a little extra numbers, because I feel like I have a tendency to hit low. But
you say that every single week that we do that. I have a tendency to hit low. Now, what I would say is a lot of it, that's a very natural thing for somebody to do and think. But I would give the advice and say you can't do that in a tournament. Like, if you have a tendency to do it in practice, you need to fix it in practice. But like out here, you really just need to judge them. You need to shoot them for what they are, and you're never gonna be able to break the habit of always wanting to cushion a yard or a yard and a half or 2 yards, or because of that tendency. If you think that, and the other thing is you're kind of counting yourself out before you even shoot it. You're getting up here and basically telling yourself, I'm probably going to break low, so what my number doesn't really matter that much. So you're getting your number close, and you're trying to go way on the high side for this fear of breaking low. I would say just judge it, get up there and shoot it, and let everything happen where it should. And if you hit low a few times, big deal. But at some point, you just have to see them, set your sight, shoot them. And I think when you set your sight on exactly what you think it is, it forces you to put that much more effort into your shot, to make sure that your shot's clean, to make sure that your shot's good.
Right.
If you tell yourself, I've probably got a yard and a half built into this one, it's okay to break low. You will.
Gotcha.
And you might break 2 yards low.
Yeah.
So I think it magnifies your mistakes when you actually try to build cushion into it.
Gotcha.
So just judge it with no error. Don't give yourself even an ounce of safety. And just shoot it.
And speaking of what we talked about here, I can feel the sweat in my hands, so I'm gonna get those as dry as I can anyway.
And that stuff matters. I mean, when you come out here and your grip's sliding around a
Yeah.
little bit, it changes the way what your arrows do and how it tunes. And
all right,
so you
let's
want to
see what happens.
straight left. All right.
Oh. Again.
Right when your shot was about to fire, I was going to say, look at your bubble. But I didn't quite get it out of my mouth. But as you settled in, you started shooting. I actually want you to shoot another shot. Shoot another shot. Level your
again,
sight.
same as last time. I did not look at my bubble.
You have to.
I know.
So get up there.
I did not.
And like, there's so many people that can do that stuff at home. And this is a lot of pressure for people watching. Like, there is pressure. And whenever you get under a lot of pressure, it's so important to balance your stuff to where it almost all of this stuff happens automatic, because it's going to be really hard for you to mentally see those things that are kind of out of whack. You have to be able to feel them. You have to be able to like go through a really quick checklist, but not like, can't be thinking about that checklist the whole time.
I shoot at home. I look at my bubble every time.
All right, well, shoot this
Last
shot.
two, I have not looked at it at all.
You're so worried about making a good, clean shot.
You are correct.
Level it up, good. There you go. You're still wanting, it's still kind of wanting to go that way. You stayed way better line.
10.
But that's perfect line straight over it. So
there's so many things you got to think about.
Well, there is, but that's why I'd say try to make that stuff automatic. So for me, if I was working on that, I would say I'd cut some weight off of that side.
Gotcha.
Just a little bit. It might only be an ounce, might be 2. It's just enough that when you draw back, what's happening is you're mentally leveling it up.
Yeah.
And then as you're telling yourself relax, make sure everything's loose. As you're relaxing, that your wrist is actually relaxing and your muscle's not fighting that weight.
Gotcha.
So if you want to be able to draw back and just aim and then say relax, and when you let go of everything, everything should just stay pretty stable. And that's how you know that you don't have too much muscle engagement and stuff like that during the shot.
Well, hey, that's a good tip there. Let's go see how
All right, check it out. All right, so here's this log that we're talking about as we hop over this thing. So when I was kind of sidestepping, to be honest, I was actually kind of imagining more the log was right here.
Yeah.
So if I would have judged to the log, I'd have probably been at least a yard. I estimate about a yard less than what there's actually here.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So, I mean, it's not.
I
do it a lot, and I'm not. I mean, it's a guessing. This whole thing's a guessing game.
Right.
It's just you just try to do whatever you can to get things as close as possible. But then at the end of the day, you just got to make a good shot.
So I was on 45, and this is right where I was holding this area. Of course, this is my first one that went left into the 8. This was my second one where I paid attention to my bubble as I should have.
And your bubble was in between the lines when it fired. It was just barely touching the right side. So it was wanting to go right, but that first shot on this one, your top cam was going way left. Your bubble was buried on the right edge here. Bubble was like getting squished up against the wall. But that that happens a lot. It's so easy to do under pressure.
So we're gonna take some weight off there. I'm gonna try that.
Yep, I would. And it might not feel, normal. And that's the difference.
Probably
is sometimes it doesn't feel perfect, but you'll perform better under pressure with it like that. So some people have a tendency when they're not under pressure, they'll hold it really level. But then when they get under pressure, they might start canting to the right, or they might start canting to the left. It's just important to kind of pay attention to how the things your body does under pressure that's different when you're completely relaxed, and then make sure that your equipment's kind of tweaked and set up for that, more so than just shooting by yourself in your shop having fun. It's just not going to feel the same. It's not going to function the same.
We did mention that I just created these problems so you could talk about them.
Yeah.
Right? I don't so I just set it up just for this.
I want to say I led this target. I judged this thing. I actually thought it was probably 4, maybe 3.5-ish, but I couldn't get myself to shoot it for that. So I put 5 like aimed 5 like right here towards the bottom side, and I want to say I hit right over it. I hit like right here.
Gotcha.
Which is about where I hit a lot today.
Yeah.
So,
well, Dan, that's why you're the pro and I'm the Joe. So
we all started there in the same spot. Grab a hold of this one. This thing's pulled tough.
Appreciate the knowledge and insight as always. I know the folks at home have been saying everywhere I hear, they're like, hey, Dan's giving us some great insight. I know I'm getting it. I just have to.
Well, if anybody has anything else that they think would be helpful too, you know, put it in the comments or whatever, and we'll try to
shoot us a message.
Do something about it.
So. All right, Dan. Thanks again, folks. Another episode, Mathews Shot of the Week. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching our video. Because you made it to the end, I can tell you our special surprise. Dan McCarthy is going to allow us to hook up one of you with a full setup of a dozen of his Black Eagle PS Dan McCarthy Signature Series arrows. You pick the spine, you pick the diameter, points, nocks, bushings, whatever you want. Dan is going to let us hook you up with a dozen. How you enter for that is there is a link in this video description. Click on that. It will walk you through how you enter our contest. With that, we want to tell you, there's no fee to enter this. We don't need any sensitive information. If you get contacted by someone asking you for credit card information or saying you have to pay an entry fee, that's not us. That's a scammer trying to get that information from you. Ignore it. It is not from us. Good luck on the contest.